asking you, in this problem, you have two things. Okay, find the measure of angle X for this one. Find the measure of angle V for this one. So let's look at this one first. Some of the important things you need to realize is you have two tick marks here. That is telling you that this is an isosceles triangle. So this side is the same as this side. In that, when that happens, the two base angles are the same. So if this is 40 degrees, so is this one. So all you have to do is add 40 degrees plus 40 degrees plus angle X equals 180. You combine like terms. Okay. You subtract to get angle X by itself. And angle X equals 100 degrees. So when you type it in, okay, it's going to have a little box, the measure of angle X equals, and it has a little degree sign, I believe, and you put 100. Now on the next one, it's asking you to find, real quick, I'll show you, the measure of angle V. Okay. Now notice all the sides are 6, measure 6. That means that each side is the same. That means that this is an equilateral triangle. Well, when that happens, it also means it's an equal angular triangle. And there's only 1 degree that when you multiply it times 3, you get 180. Or you can say to yourself, I know it's 180 degrees. I have to divide it by 3. And when I do that, I get 60. And again, it's going to have the measure of angle V down at the bottom with a box, and you type 60. Okay.
Now, your number 10 is very similar to this, but not exactly the same. Okay.
Right.
But I suspect it will have isosceles triangle, but the angle will not be 40. It might be different.
It might give you 40 as the middle top angle. Okay. What that means is, for example, say that's the case. And I'm going to move this real quick. Say 40 was the top angle. Well, you know that 40, plus 2 of the unknown angles, call them X, equals 180. If you subtract that 40, okay, that leaves 2X equals 140. You're going to divide by that 2 to cut them in half, and each angle will equal 70 degrees. So that's how that works.
And then the other triangle, yours would also be probably an equilateral triangle, but the sides will not be 6. There might be 5. There might be 4.
Right.
There might be. So the questions are very, very similar. They're not exactly the same.
Right. So what he's saying is it's going to tell you it's equilateral by the fact that it's the same number.
Yeah, 5, okay. 5, 5, or 7, or whatever. So the main idea is the.
Right. Some of you are asking when this is due. We want you to have this done by Wednesday so that we can grade it. We are going to be very nice to you guys and make it worth 2 assignments. So the practice is actually going to count. It's going to be worth 40 points, okay? And it's going to be considered extra credit. That's how we're putting it in. So what it will do is if you missed a couple assignments, it'll make those up. If you're ahead and doing well, it'll give you extra credit toward your test, okay? So make sure you get this done by next Wednesday. Use the weekend. Have questions for us either today or Monday. Any other examples that I can do?
Can I have help with number 12?
Sure. Let me stop sharing and you go ahead and show me 12. All right. So, let me copy it real quick. All right. You can go ahead and stop sharing. And I will share mine. Okay, so here's what we're looking at, okay? Now, again, it's telling you something. This has 2 tick marks.
Can you share your camera?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I did. I guess it didn't, oh, there it goes. It just didn't select it. Okay,
Thank you.
it's showing you have 2 tick marks here, okay? And it is asking, it wants the measure of all angles. And each one has a box over here that you need to fill in. On your own piece of paper, you need to find out what these angles are, okay? So I know these 2 base angles of an isosceles triangle are the same, okay? So I know that these are the same. So they are equal to each other. So I'm going to take base triangle and make it equal to the other base triangle. And then I get x's on one side. So I like to keep my x's positive. So I'm going to subtract my 2x. Okay. And I will have 40 equals 2x plus 22. I'm going to subtract my 22. And I can't take 2 away from nothing, so I have to borrow. And now I have 18. Oops.
The paper, I believe.
Yeah. Now I need to divide by 2. And I get 9 equals x. Now, that's not my answer, okay? That's just what x is. I still have to plug in x, okay, to the problem. And you can use either one. So say I use angle A. Angle A is 2 times x, which is 9, plus 40, okay? 2 times 9 is 18, plus 40. When I add those together, 8 plus 0 is 8, 1 plus 4 is 5, it's 54 degrees. Now, angle A is the same as angle B. So I have this one, and I have this one. Now, I have to decide, if I put those up there, I have to figure out what's left from 180. So I take angle C plus 58 plus 58 equals 180. I add my like terms. 8 and 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 5 plus 5 plus 1 is 11. Angle C plus 116 equals 180. I subtract because I'm trying to figure out what that one angle is by itself.
Move the paper up a little bit, please.
Oh, sorry. I gotta zoom out. Okay. And I can't take 6 from nothing, so I have to borrow. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 1 is 6. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So angle C is 64, and I plug that in up here. Okay? So X was just to find out how to plug it in. I needed to figure out what this was to plug it in here to then be able to add the 2. and subtract from 180 to
Okay.
get my other angle.
So what I got lost at the part because I did the math for the 2x plus 40. I did that and I got a 9. How do you plug in, or where do you plug in?
Okay, so
So you're
this
gonna be like,
9, I took angle A's, what it
okay.
was, and see the X there? Instead of the X, I
Yes.
plugged in the 9,
Oh, okay.
and then I did the math. And I take
And then
3
how'd
times
you
9 is
get?
18,
Okay.
add it to the 40, and that's my 58. And that matches
Okay.
up. And angle A, remember, is here. Well, angle A and angle B are the same, so I don't
Yeah.
have to do those twice. But I do have to take them away from 180 to see what's left, to see what 64 is. So I just added them
Okay.
together here and got rid of it and to get C.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Alexa,
You're welcome.
what number was this?
This was like number 10, I think.
This is number 12. 12 and 13 are the same, or like
Okay.
same type of question.
Okay, class, if you look at your number 12, it will not be exactly the same, but it'll be very, very similar. Okay,
Right.
the x plus 40 might be different, or the angle they gave you might be a different one. Okay, but the same idea, isosceles triangle will be the same for all of you guys. Okay, so like I told you, for example, on these finally, if you want to copy, it will be very hard because the answers your friend gives you is for a different problem. So for this test, to copy will be almost impossible. If you want to work with someone else, it might help. Okay, but copy will be almost impossible. Okay, good. Any other question?
For the next question, it's kind of like this one, but the number, it starts like, for example, it starts with like the C and A. It's using C and A. Can I
Right.
still do the same math?
As you're saying, C and A are the base triangles?
No, the given information will be angle C and angle A.
Yeah.
So they're giving you this one and this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and they actually tell you the angles?
No,
Um,
the expression of 2x plus 40 and 4x plus 22.
yeah. Is it kind of like the same math, or?
Okay,
Well,
so you would double this one up and add it to this one to equal 180.
do you want us to try it?
Yeah, you want to share
Yes.
it and I can
Do you want to
show
share it?
you what, yeah. Okay, let me draw it, hold on. Okay,
And this is number 13.
okay, so you can stop sharing. And, okay, so what we're looking at is this, okay? And what is happening is, remember that these two angles are the same. So now you actually have to add them all up and find X, okay? So actually you could find X on its own. Let's see, could I make that work? No, not really. So you would take this 5X plus 22. There's 2 of those, okay? And then you add it to 4X plus 24 and make it equal to 180. So now you have each angle. You have angle E, angle F, and angle D, okay? So now you're gonna combine like terms. So combine the 22 and the 24, 22, 22, and 24. You can either use a calculator, just add them. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8. Okay, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. And then you want to combine your x's, and they're all positive, and that would be 14x. Okay, now you have a problem that you're used to, and you would subtract 68 from both sides because you're trying to get the x by itself. You can't take 8 from nothing, so you have to borrow. Okay, now you divide by 14. Me personally, I use the calculator. So I bring up my calculator and I say 112 divided by 14, and that's 8. So x equals 8. Now, I'm not done. I've just discovered what x is. Now I still have to plug in for angle D, which is 4 times x plus 24. So I'm going to put this answer goes here, okay, which I plug in for 8. 4 times 8 is 32 plus 24. So angle D, 2 plus 2 is 6. 3 plus 2 is 5, is 56 degrees. Okay, now I have to plug in for angle E, and believe it or not, it's going to be the same for angle F because they're the same. Okay, so angle E says it's 5 times x, which is 8. So again, I'm going to put 8 here. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 22. I add those together. 2 plus nothing is 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Sorry, my 2 is not writing right. And that angle E is 62 degrees. Now, I go back up here. Angle D is 56, and there's going to be a little box now. It's with a degree mark. Angle E is 62. Well, what's angle F? Well, it's the same as angle E because it's an isosceles triangle. And that's going to be 62 as well.
And class, the thing to notice is the problem, the problems are very, very similar. Yes, they change the numbers on you or the angle they gave you. The idea of an isosceles triangle is that's true for all of them. Okay, so if you look at your number, I'm not sure what number it is, but you look at it, it'll be very similar to this. The main idea is the isosceles triangle.
Right. And Alexandria, good job. I'm assuming you're answering to what you got here. And yes, for those of you asking, I can show you what vertical angles look like versus linear pairs versus, versus congruent. Let me let this up for just a minute more, and then I'll show you that. Okay, so let me get a new sheet of paper. Some of you are asking, because they're asking about angles, what does a vertical angle look like? Okay, remember vertical angles, when we have two triangles connected like so, these two in the middle are vertical angles. Okay. If you wanted to know what a linear pair looks like, so let me show you on this same thing here. Let me angle, these are vertical angles. Okay. A linear pair is angles that are on the same line. So for example, this is a line. This is a linear pair because line is in the word. Okay. So linear angles are on the same line. okay? Congruent angles are when they tell you, okay, that they're the same by tick marks, all right? So usually they'll say, these are congruent. They're the same by the amount of tick marks. If you have a specific question, like on Alex, you can ask me, but that's a quick review of what those look like.
They also asked them supplementary angles.
Oh, okay, so supplementary, these, believe it or not, are the same. Supplementary angles are the same as linear pairs. They equal 180 degrees.
Yes, all linear angles are supplementary.
Right. They equal 180 degrees when you add the two together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ask complementary? Do you know?
No.
Okay.
They give him 3 lines, and they ask for vertical angles, linear angles, and
So they kind of like this.
yeah, and they're not necessarily parallel. They don't have to be parallel.
They are parallel?
No, they are not.
They're not. Okay, so they just do this.
In a transversal, yeah.
Okay, so they don't tell you if these are parallel, which is frustrating.
And the number of the angles, like start from the
Right, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you have to pick which ones.
yeah, they have to name yes one pair of vertical angles.
Right. So any angle across from each other, okay, is vertical. So 2 and 3, 1 and 4, 5 and 8, 7 and 6. So you have 4 choices there.
And
Okay.
you have to put one.
Right. Supplementary, they're on the same line. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, or 6 and 8 works as well. So does 2 and 4 because they're on the same line. Congruent, without them telling you, actually that's not true. Congruent, vertical angles are congruent without them telling you they're parallel lines. So if it's a vertical angle, it's also congruent, okay? So you could say 5 and 8 are congruent, or 7 and 6, or 2 and 3. Any vertical angle is also congruent.
Yeah, all vertical angles are congruent. All
right.
And
so I should say these are also congruent. But see, these aren't vertical angles. These are, and they're congruent. See, they have 1 tick mark, 1 tick mark. These are not, but they're still congruent by the label of them. So you have to know that. Any other questions? Yes, I'll stop sharing and you show me 14. Share your screen and show me 14. A linear pair, the one asking me about a linear pair, it's on the same line. So you have 1 big one and 1 small one. I can show you that in just a second. Okay, Devin, let me scroll up just, okay, there, that's good. Okay, so now you're comparing similar angles. Okay, so let me draw these real quick.
that way you don't have to copy it.
It's okay, I'll copy it.
Okay.
Or if you want to do it, but I don't mind.
Well, because I can just take a picture of the screen and do it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll just do the first one. You take a picture and you can do the second and third one, and I'll do the first one.
Okay. Let me take the picture.
Let me know when you have your picture and I'll start sharing.
I got the picture.
Okay, So Devin, you can stop sharing and I'll go back to mine and I'll share.
How
Okay,
do I
it's
stop?
okay, I got you. I'll take
Okay.
over. Okay, so this is the first of the three that he had. Now, the first thing you have to decide is, do I have a theory of what it's going to be? Now, remember, you only have a few choices. There's like angle, angle, side, angle, side, 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 side. They're not showing us any angles here, only sides. So I'm theorizing that it's going to be side, side, side similarity. Okay, I don't know that for sure. So now I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take my biggest side over here, which is 6, and I'm going to match it up to my biggest side over here, which is 15. I'm simply going by numbers. Okay, so that's my first ratio that I'm going to set up. My next one, my next biggest one is 5 and 12. So I'll set that one up. And my next one, what's left, is 4 and 10. Okay, and my theory is that all these proportions are going to be the same. Okay. For those of you that were asking me real quick, I'm going to jump off linear pair. It's like 1 and 2 are a linear pair. They're on the same line. 1 is smaller, 2 is bigger. Or 5 and 6 is a linear pair. 5 is bigger, 6 is smaller. Okay, or 7 and 8. 7 is smaller, 8 is bigger. That's a linear pair. Okay, back to this one. So I'm going to take big to small. 15 is to 6. 12 is to 5. And 10 is to 4. Okay, these, it's probably easier instead of doing decimals and doing division just to reduce. So I know 5 times 3 makes 15, and 2 times 3 makes 6. I get rid of my commons, which is 3, and I'm left with 5 halves. Now my hope is that the same is going to happen here. So I'm already going, oh, 5 doesn't go into 12. And 5's prime. So this is as far as I can go with this one. So right away, I can tell you, oops, sorry. Right away, I can tell you that these aren't similar because I've run into a snag. So you're going to have a box or a dot or something that says not similar. And that's the one you're going to check or put or highlight, whatever it says. Because if these two don't match up, there's no reason to go to this one because all three have to be the same for it to be similar. Okay. So then, Mr. Rivas, if you want to do your two.
Okay, I think you have to stop sharing so I can share. Oh no, I can share. Okay, the problem that Tracy did right now, so the way you answer will be not similar, not or not enough information, and that's it, you're done. Okay. Now the next problem is, are they similar, yes or no? Okay, remember for similar, the option we had was angle similarity. We had side angle side similarity, and we also had angle side angle similarity. Now, if you look what I have two angles. Okay, I have the this angle is similar to this angle. Okay, notice I have no sides. Okay, so of all the choices I have, side will not work. Now you say, okay, Mr. Rivas, I see one angle, I don't see the other angle, they're different. Okay, you're supposed to find the other angle. Okay, for example, if I call this x, to find that you do 90 plus this equal to 180. So you do 90 plus 55 plus x is equal to 180. Now combine like terms. 5 plus 0 will give you 5. 5 plus 9 will give you 14, equal to 180. Okay. Now get the x by itself, minus 145, minus 145. These are opposites, they cancel, so you have x is equal to 0 minus 5, you can't do it, you need to borrow. So that'll be a 7 and this will be a 10. 10 minus 5 will be 5. 7 minus 4 will be 3. And 1 minus 1 will be 0. So this is 35. Now, I can say that this angle is equal to this angle. So therefore, is not, in this case, they are similar. And they're similar because of angle similarity. If you push in the arrow, it's going to give you the choices, and one of them will be angle similarity. Now, similarity statement, angle JKL is similar to, remember, go in order, the J will correspond to H. So this will be H. The K, this K will be to I. And the L corresponds to G. So you select the Ds are similar, you write the similarity statement, and they're similar because of angle similarity. Okay? Any question here?
Isn't it JKL? Wouldn't you have to like before J, since it's on the top, wouldn't it correspond with G? Isn't it?
You have to be careful because this is oriented differently. Okay. Now, the J is 55. Okay. That means that this is 55. So J is to H. K is a 90-degree angle. The 90-degree angle over here is I. And the L is a 35-degree. The 35 would be G. You gotta be careful because the triangle is facing differently. It's not oriented the same direction. Do you see that?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So in this case, don't go by the position, go by what measure it has. Okay. So the 55 matches the 55, the 90 with the 90, and the 35 with 35. Yeah, be careful with that. Any other question? Okay, let me go to the triangle in the bottom. Okay. This is what they gave me. And something that Tracy and I told you guys about. Vertical angles are congruent. So these two are vertical angles and they'll be congruent. And that's all I know. Okay, nothing else that I know. Okay. So for this particular problem, they're not similar or not similar or not necessarily similar. You don't have enough information given to you. And that's the answer. These answer choices, once you pick this, this and this is no longer necessary. Okay. Once you say not similar, these questions are not necessary. These are necessary only when it's similar. Okay. And not similar because you don't have enough information. Okay. Any question here?
I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, they only gave us vertical angles. That's all we have. There's nothing else. Yes, there are linear angles, but that's not enough information. Okay. Any other question? Any other question?
No questions.
Anyone else have a question? So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll let you guys work for another 10, 20 minutes. Then I'll ask for more questions, okay?
So I am ready. We're looking at this one. And the student's asking, how do I find x? Okay, so remember exterior angle theorem. If you have this outside angle, okay, it is equal, okay, to this angle. Well, actually, it's the whole thing because it's the whole triangle, and this angle added together, okay? Well, they didn't tell you this angle, but what they did tell you is this one, and these are vertical angles. So I can assume that this one's 28. So I'm going to take 28 plus 33 plus 30, because you have to act like this is one big triangle here, okay? And remember, the outside angle is equal to the two opposite angles. Well, I have to add these two together because that's the whole big thing, okay? And that is going to be equal to x. So then you just add them together. 0 plus 3 is 3, plus 8 is 11. I'm going to carry my 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7, 8, 9. So x is equal to 91 degrees. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and your problem might be slightly different, but the idea is the same, is the exterior angle theorem.
All right, this means plus. It looks like an X because of the way I wrote it, but it means plus. So you're adding these three angles. This one, and this one. And there should be a degree here.
Yeah, so the idea is the remote exterior angle theorem. Your problem might be slightly different, but that's the main idea for all of them.
Right. And if they split this angle, you got to take both. And the common theme I've seen so far in ALEKS is they do. So you got to remember to add both. Hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions? We got about 28 minutes.
Okay, class,
Okay.
what I'm sharing with you guys is number 20. And the reason for that is we didn't cover that in class today, but you probably did it on this year, but you probably did it last year. Okay. Now, what I want you to notice is if you notice on the right hand side, I have a calculator that I can use. I can ask for an explanation and they explain to me how to do it. And I can do an example. Okay. So this one you can use a calculator. These two are very, very similar. If you ask it to explain it to you, it would explain it to you, but it will kind of as wrong because he will do this problem for you. Okay. So what I say is don't ask for an explanation, ask for an example. When you ask for an example, it's going to give a problem very similar to what you have, but the numbers will be different. Watch this. So the problem will be very, very similar, but the numbers will be different. You see that? If you read this, you can, once you understand how to do it, you can close this and go back to the problem and be able to do it. If you select for explanation, the computer would actually do the problem for you, but you wouldn't have a chance to answer it anymore because you used that already. Okay. Now, what I'll say for you guys, when you get to this problem, look at the example and try to use that to help you. Okay. Remember, we're gonna be working on this also next week. So if you need help, maybe next week you can ask me. But I just wanted to make you guys aware that you can ask Alex to explain it to you or to give an example. Okay, they're very similar, but explanation, it will actually do the problem for you, which means he will not give you a chance to answer it anymore because he gave you the answer. If you ask for explanation, it will do a problem very, very, very similar to it. The only difference will be the numbers. Okay.
Mr. Rivas, you want to tell them about the English versus Spanish thing too?
Well, I need somebody to share the screen so we can do it. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, I do. Okay, let me log in Alex really quick. And I can show you guys how. Some of you understand stuff better in Spanish, and that's totally fine. So let me share my screen. Okay, so let's see if it'll let me do this one. So if I'm in, whoops, nope, not that one. If I'm in this, let me get to a actual class.
Yeah, that's the problem.
This is my view,
They all
and
say,
I'll show you guys your view. So when you're in this view, come on. Is it sharing? It's not. I like froze. Okay, let me stop sharing really quick. Okay, why isn't it sharing the right thing? Oh, because I'm not sharing the right thing. Hold on. I just realized technological issues. Okay, let me share this one. See how it says Spanish down here? So you can switch to that, or if I get out of this, any problems, I can click on there. It'll be in your upper right-hand corner of the problem. You can just click it and it'll magically put it in Spanish, okay? If you're like, okay, that didn't help me, English is understanding better, because it depends on the problem, just go back and it'll toggle between each one, okay? This won't come up, I just haven't done the intro thing. Does that make sense?
yeah, and what I recommend, if you need that, actually you need both of them, English and Spanish.
Yeah, and it should be turned on for all of you. If you don't see this, let us know so we can help you turn it on, because I can show you where. You just go under, see how it says, hi, Amy? You just go under settings. See how over here it says English, Spanish toggle, and it's green. That means it gives it to me. See, no matter what screen I'm in, it'll give it to me. Okay. So some of you were asking about, let's see. Okay, So some of you had a question about, let me share my screen here with my document camera. Finding a side length to the nearest hundredth, like what Mr. Rivas talked about. So say we have a problem like this. All right, you guys, we got 6 minutes and